Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. Well, let me tell you. But first, how's she going, my son, and welcome to Path of Exile. Skip these tutorials, I know what I'm doing. I play this game far too much, and I figured, what the hell, I might as well start sharing it with you guys.
Like a brisk dip to start the day. Now where on God's arse am I?
You're in Wraclast, my friend.
You and I, we're the only ones that made it to shore. Alive, anyway.
Oh, that's no good.
Looks like you found something you can defend yourself with. Good. This place is crawling with criminals. There's smoke rising just east of here. Could be worth checking.
Oh, God! Viper
Is
Strike.
it possible to murder someone who's already dead?
You know, that's a damn good question, my stand-in character self. I am not entirely sure. And if you're curious about the spelling, I think I have an account on this that used that name, and now it's like in limbo and it can't be used anymore, so that's why I have the T in there. It makes it a little easier to phonetically see how you pronounce the name. Michelozo. But anyway, this is Path of Exile. It's a isometric action RPG. You know, think your Diablos, think your Torchlights, so on and so forth. Titan Quest, another good one. But this is Path of Exile. In particular, the skill system, your class merely determines where you start on the massive, massive skill web. Look at this thing. This thing is huge. Huge. And I mean, you can technically go wherever you want in it. I mean, it's not always optimal, but you can, for example, since I'm the Shadow, I start here. You know, I could start taking points here or here, and then start meandering my way through the tree, and I could even end up in the Witches section of the tree and start making my spells better. Or, I can go down here to the Ranger's tree and start making my, like, physical projectiles better and my, like, dual-wieldy melee better. You know, because since I'm right between the two of them in the tree, you know, Shadow gets, like, the best of both worlds. And, you know, some unique features along with that. But anyway, your actual active abilities are determined by skill gems. Think Materia, if you've ever played Final Fantasy VII. The idea being that you know, slot it into your equipment. In this case, this game has a color coding system for the gems. This game has a color coding system for the gems, meaning you need to be that stat to use them, or at least need a majority of that stat. Green for dexterity, red for strength, blue for intelligence. The Shadow being a dexterity/intelligence character, he'll want to be using green and blue gems usually, but there is reason to use red ones sometimes. You know, you might run into, for an example, once you start getting to support gems, which are the gems that don't do anything on their own, but when you plug them into an active skill, that makes the active skill better. Usually costs more mana too, but I mean, worth it. But there are a lot of the red gems affect how you fight in melee, like more splash damage, just more melee damage, you know, stuff like that. Multi-strike is one where, like, instead of attacking once, every one click is 3 attacks. That's always pretty good. You know, less damage per, but you're getting the, like, Daka melee effect, where you attack many times. But we're doing as you do in the start of most action RPGs, running up to people, left-clicking them until they fall over dead. Now, the skill they gave me to start with, Viper Strike, converts some of your physical damage, or was it? Adding some physical damage as chaos damage, and poisoning the enemy. Poison being, you know, your typical, you go green and you lose points over time thing. You may have noticed it a little bit there. And I need to fix my glasses. Pardon me. Okay, what is hopefully a short jump cut for you was a short struggle for me to get the lens of my glasses back in place. It's never done the whole pop out of the socket before in a long, or at least in a long time, but yeah, it decided to do it today. Ah, lesser poison support. I was wondering what they'd start you with. Because this is sort of the, this is the tutorial, and they're like, here's a gem, this gives you abilities. Here's a support gem, it makes your abilities better. So yeah, this will make it I poison on every hit instead of 60% of the time. Adds a bit of raw chaos damage, which in turn adds to the poison damage, because poison damage on your weapons is always... or poison damage you cause is always based on the physical of your weapon plus the chaos of your weapon, if any. Now, I think I might switch what I do, because I have a chaos character already. It's a witch. Although it's chaos spells, which is different, but... you'd be going in the same places in the tree, so that's kind of a little boring for me, and might be a little boring for you. I decided... Oop, there we go.
Nice not being dead yet.
That it is. Alright, so, we have our first decision. Now, if we go this way, we get physical, chaos, and physical damage, chaos damage, life damage. Now, due to the way that's worded, that would apply to any kind of damage, like, whether it be from a spell or be it from an actual melee attack. Because there are nodes that don't specify, and there are nodes that do. Like, give you an idea, where's the Marauder? The Marauder, melee damage and life, for example, on his tree. I believe the Templar has elemental damage, but the way that's worded, that would work on spells or melee, as long as it's elemental. Now, we're actually going to go elemental as well. Yeah, we're going to go elemental. So we're going to go elemental, and we're going to get the elemental damage and energy shield node. Boop. Now, energy shield is one of the 3 primary defenses in the game. The primary defenses being armor, which is just a flat physical reduction of damage. Or reduction of physical damage, I should say. Evasion, which is a diminishing returns chance of not even getting hit at all by attacks. Physical only. And then energy shield, which is just basically fake hit points. Because, if you've ever played Borderlands, you've ever played Warframe, a lot of games do it these days. Where you have... Oh, hello, Hillock. How you doing? Where you have, like, a hit point barrier, and then you have your actual hit points you actually have to worry about. That's what energy shield is. Uh-oh. Now, see, as long as he doesn't keep hitting me, the energy shield comes back. Nice and easy. Now, again, as a shadow, I'm Dex and Intelligence, so my character's defenses will be a mixture of... evasion and energy shield. Another knife. Grab a hat. Grab a robe. Grab some shoes. Yeah, that works. Wow, I look like a hobo. I suppose every character at the beginning of one of these games usually does look like a hobo. Alright, so... You can dual-wield inherently anything in this game. The one caveat being... If it's a two-hander, you can't dual-wield it with anything, because there's no character in this that's like the Barbarian in Diablo 2. Or 3, I think. It's been a while since I played that one. That allow you to, dual-wield two-handers. And you can't dual-wield wands, which are like the one-handed ranged weapon, with anything but another wand. Because you need to be shooting with 2 wands instead of swinging at the air with one weapon and shooting with the other. Now, I'll try not to skip the dialogue. It's a very hard habit.
You did to Hillock out there, Shadow. Your murderous art is the reason you're here.
Give me a check.
Exile, and it'll be the one thing that sees you through to another dawn. I'm Nessa, and I suppose I should thank you for ridding us of that putrid giant. Back in Oriath, I feared your kind, condemned you from afar. In Wraclast, I don't have that luxury. Lion Eye's watch isn't much, but it's ours. We could use you here, while you live. But should you wish to venture out, do just one thing for me. Out on the coast, amongst the wrecks, there must be a ship's medicine chest. I have many to care for, and there's only so much I can do with herbs and seawater.
Now, before we get going, I'd like to just point out the interesting nature of the crafting system, or of the purchasing system in this. You may have noticed there is no gold. There is no unified currency. That is because what you get,
God hasn't abandoned us.
they call currency items. Now, this is obviously, since I've been on this league for a while, I have a lot of stuff. Like, give you an idea. Bam! Lots of goodies. Ooh, I actually might use this one. Whoop. But yeah, what you get instead are the currency items. Unlike gold, which has no other purpose than barter, the currency items all do a thing. Like, this makes normal items magical, this lets you re-roll the item's properties, this lets you take one off, this makes an item random, it could make it a unique like this, or it can make it just a magic item or a rare item. You know, stuff like that. Some of them allow you to, like, undo properties, like this lets you undo your skill points, this one, wipes a weapon clean, so that you can, you know, start fresh, with a white weapon. Or if you find, like, a weapon that has good slots, because you gotta start really worrying about these later on, having the ability to scour the properties of an item that you just don't really care about, but you want the slots to re-roll it into something you want to have. You know, that's a way to do it, too. Lots of stuff. I'm gonna use this one. They might offer me one, but, you know, I have one, so I might as well use it.
A sodden shadow staggered from the surf and surveyed the somber strand. That's the first line of the poem I'm writing about you, Exile. Easy there. You could poison a bloke with a book like that. The name's Bestel, captain of the good ship Merry Go. Alas, my Merry Go is gone. My crew is. But my wits remain. Oh, dear bless you. There's an island, a hop, skip and a wade offshore of the terraces. That's where my Merry Go ran aground. Watched the locals spit roast the ship's doctor, but his medicine chest might still be there, amongst the splinters and bones.
Kinky.
It'd have everything Nessa might need. Dr. Shaky Hands Opton was lousy with a scalpel and even worse with a sword, but he knew his apothecary. Explains the shaky hands, if you ask me.
The Merry Gull ran aground on the tidal island trying to escape from pirates. As tends to happen here in Wraclast, her crew met a far worse fate. Cannibals. Tarkley pulled Vestal from some hideaway in the wreckage. The ship's only survivor. Whether the ordeal fractured his mind or whether it was just in his nature all along, it's clear that Vestal sails a different course to the rest of us. Goodbye.
Poor Nessa. Not even a mother herself, and yet she cares for us all. And what a sickly, pathetic brood we are. May she live to have her own family. A real family. If anyone deserves that, Nessa does.
Get a closer look.
Arrow, the Merry Gull's cook.
These are other players, by the way.
Dead as a doornail he was. Buried him myself. Then, a few days later, I see him on the beach. A little worse, wherever. Upright, shuffling about. A land full of disturbing surprises, this Wraclast.
Oh my. I didn't notice, but that survivor has a baby. Aw. Talk to you first.
Fine work with Hillock. Where'd you learn to fight like that? No, forget I asked. We exiles have no history. Dominus took it from us when he had his blackguards dump us in the water out there. Here, got something for you. Should help you kill a few more of those undead bastards. Don't bother thanking me. The way I figure it, the longer we fighters live, the longer everyone lives.
Makes sense. Okay, so we are given a list of skill gems for free. However, thankfully, in recent updates of the game, and particularly, I think the update that is like the big one, the 3.0, they added the ability to buy all the gems that your character could be offered, and a couple others, from the vendor in town that sells the miscellaneous stuff, not the armor stuff. So what we get as a shadow for our first pick, on top of having Viper Strike built in, is Freezing Pulse, Ice Wave, more damage up front, pretty good. Fire Trap, garbage. I mean, it's probably good, but I just don't use traps in this. I have no patience for them. Lightning Tendrils, I have not used this before. I don't think I will on this character because it's a spell and it's... I've played a lot of characters lately that are stand in place and channel. I want to do something else. Ethereal Knives, Physical Spell, which is interesting, and then Frostblade was the one I picked up here. Bother. I'm not sure what to get. Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter. Freezing Pulse is good. Okay.
founded by Marseilles Lioneye as a supply station for his campaigns against the Cargo. In its day, Lioneye's watch could be defended by just a small garrison of well-armed legionnaires. I got a handful of starving criminals with driftwood clubs and rusted hatchets. The Eternal Empire has some right nasty leftovers. Whether it's something in the air or in the water, no one stays dead in Wraclast. Not the first time. It can take a little while, but sooner or later corpses wake up and go looking for breakfast. That hat Vestal wears? Saw him pluck it from the real captain's head right before the cannibals barbecued the poor bastard. Waste not, want not, I suppose. Yes, Vestal's got a gift for telling tales, but I'd never call him a liar. The truth's always in there. You just have to listen for it. Nessa's the one keeps the rest of us from losing our minds. To be honest, when she first arrived, I didn't think she'd survive more than a day, 2 at most. She's been proving me wrong every dawn since. Heard a bard once sing that the fairest flowers bloom in the foulest places. He's bloody well right. I've seen many an exile pass through Lioneye's watch, and many more that simply pass on. Those letters are my way of keeping track, of remembering. Oriath might want to forget us all, but I'll be damned if I will. Farewell.
A lot of dialogue in this. I mean, it's all optional, though. Like, if I was actually just playing this on my own time and I wasn't, you know, trying to give people who maybe not have played this game a chance to absorb the lore, I would just... I'd be out the door already killing things again. After picking up the next quest. Okay, so now you offer... Haha. You offer more stuff. Like, this is stuff that some of this is offered to the witch, for example, and some of this is offered to the ranger, who... The two of them are, like, the two on the other side of the shadow. Now, we are dual-wielding, so dual strike is good. It's literally just hit with both weapons at the same time. And the rest of these are, like, bow moves and stuff. But I want to do elemental, so you know what? I'm going to get elemental hit. Elemental hit is a random attack. It does any one of those 3 damage it lists there. 4 to 8 fire, 3 to 6 cold, 1 to 13 lightning. Chance to cause freeze, shock, ignite. Freeze is obviously what you would expect. The target is frozen solid. Normally cold damage just slows them down, but if you do enough cold damage, or you crit, because a crit always causes these, you can cause what's called an elemental ailment. And an elemental ailment for cold is freezing. They freeze solid. Shock is the one for lightning, and it causes them to take more damage. There's some complicated math behind that one, but all you really need to know is the more lightning damage you do to cause the shock, the more extra damage you'll take from the shock, to a cap of 50%. And then ignite is obviously, oh my god, I'm on fire. That's all you need to know. Unfortunately, it's not a very good dot compared to poison, because it doesn't stack. And that's a problem. But we're going to ditch poison, and we're going to go elemental, because I want to use elemental hit. And then we're going to have Frost Blades available as well. And I'm going to get the Pierce support gem. Now, Frost Blades is interesting, because unlike most attack skills that aren't for the bow anyway, it has a melee component and a projectile component, which you'll see when I use it. So I can actually give it projectile mods, melee mods, cold mods, and attack mods. Because you can see underneath the name there, it says projectile, attack, melee, and cold. Those are the keywords of the gem, meaning what you can use to modify it. For example, Freezing Pulse is projectile, spell, cold. These could both benefit from cold buffs. These could both benefit from projectile buffs. Only this one can benefit from attack and melee, though. And only this one can benefit from spells. Simple system, really. Boop. Will I put it on my spacebar? Yeah, spacebar seems good. Okay, so this will be the offhand. Last resort. Nailed fist. Plus 3 life. Yeah. Every weapon in this, except axes, but axes just inherently do the most damage in terms of just flat numbers. But every other weapon has a property to it. Daggers make you crit more. Is it crit more or crit harder? Crit more. Claws are inherent lifesteal weapons, which is kind of nice. Don't really think there's anything else I need in here. No. I mean, you can take ethereal knives, I guess, but yeah. You don't want to have too many active skills in this. If you have too many active skills, you just kind of start tripping over your own keyboard. It's best to grab a couple of things that work for your character and then pimp the ever-loving hell out of them. It's the best way to do it. I mean, I could wear that instead. Nah, we're good. Nah, we're good. Okay, put the money away. Put that away. Put that away. Yeah, I can just ditch that. Actually, no, I will use it as an example of the vendor system. Now, the vendor system is barter. I sell you something, they offer me something. In this case, only the scroll of a fragment of a scroll of wisdom, because this item is so shitty, it's not worth anything else. Because, I mean, it's something I got in the beginning of the game, sure. Of course it's going to be garbage. And then I get one of these. Now, one of these, 5 of them make a scroll of wisdom. I've got 3 in my fancy storage here. This is something you... This particular kind of storage is something you can buy with real cash, by the way. This is a free-to-play game, but, you know, microtransactions. Thankfully, they're either all cosmetic or convenience in this, so that's not too bad. Don't need to talk to you. She's an optional thing. The prophecy system, which is interesting, but I'll talk about that another time. That's a whole nother concept. One thing I will talk about... Oh.
The furnace down at the slaughterhouse. Yes, that's what this place smells like.
Gross. What I will talk about, however, is the unique way potions are done in this game. Potions are not... Well, they're called flasks, but they are not consumables. They are your consumables, but they are not used up when you drink them. They have a limited number of uses, which recharge when you kill things, but they get... and unlike a potion, they can actually be modified like a piece of equipment. Now, there's some limitations. They don't have rares. They only have uniques and magic items, which only have one property, one prefix and one suffix property. This is Frostblades, by the way. Pretty awesome skill. You might hear a lot of spacebar. I'll try to minimize it if I can. But you're probably going to hear a lot of spacebar. That's our poison support. I just... Low on mana. Now, I haven't actually gotten a shadow very far in this game. So, you know, this is a new experience for me. But, I mean, at the same time, the characters in this are pretty similar in terms of the setup. Like I said, the only thing the class really does, other than your little shoutouts and what your character actually looks like, is, plus some NPC interactions, is the fact that you start in a different section of the massive skill web. You know, and so your character will then favor.
I'm impressed by how much this place wants me dead.
Your character will favor certain strategies and certain types of equipment and whatever. But it is not a hard and fast rule. It'll be worse if you, like, for example, you start as a duelist and you want to cast spells, which is, you know, duelist is all the way down here because he's the strength dexterity guy. But the spellcasting, I mean, there's spellcasting all over the tree, but, like, the majority of it is the top half of the tree, which is where all the intelligence stuff is, which is where the witch starts. That's why she's the best spellcaster to start with. But, over time, the characters can hybridize very easily. Now, unlike in most games where you have a big tree like this, you have no way in hell of getting all of these in one character. There's like 500 some odd points here, and you only get about 100 and something. So, yeah, you just cannot get everything in this tree. Which is good. I prefer having lots of choices where I have a limit on how many of them I can take. Rather than, oh, you can just eventually get everything. Because then every character turns into the same thing in the end game. Which is kind of boring. Now, admittedly, in this game, even if every character could take everything in the passive tree if they wanted, it would be different depending on what gems you use. But you would have this, like, stagnating of what is usable and what isn't usable based on the fact that everybody has all the stats, you know? Plus, there's some things in the tree you don't want to take with other stuff in the tree, because they actually have, like, negative synergy. Like, I'll give you an idea. Let's see. Where is it? For example, Chaos Inoculation. Chaos is a damage type. It's the type Poison is, for example. Forgot to mention that Chaos inherently bypasses Energy Shield, which is kind of shitty for people who are Energy Shield and Life. But if you go Chaos Inoculation, your maximum life becomes 1, but then you're immune to Chaos damage. Just period. All of your life is reliant on the shield, because when the shield breaks, you only have 1 hit point before you're dead. And, you know, that you usually just die when the energy shield drops. I know this because I have a character that's like that. But, for example, when you take this, all of a sudden, everything that has to do with life is really bad for you. Because, I mean, increased life, that does nothing. My life is set to 1. Blood Siphon, I get life on kill. That's great, but I don't have any. You know, like that kind of logic. Another good one. Vol Pact. Lifesteal effects in this inherently take some time. Vol Pact makes it that they don't take any time at all. However, you no longer regenerate health. Like, if you have any health that's, in effect, that's health over time. You now don't. It just does not work. Your character has, like, a flat, hard 0 life regeneration. I don't think these are any good, are they? I mean, yeah, gloves, I guess. Right, what was I talking about? I was talking about anti-synergies. And Volpact, right. And then, you know, once you take Volpact, everything in the tree that's about life regeneration becomes useless. And in particular, there's a one that converts your life regeneration into shield regeneration, which just doesn't do anything if you have Volpact. Oh, and for the record, flasks are not regeneration or leech, they're recovery. So you can always use potions, even if you have Volpact, but you can't regenerate health unless you stab it out of somebody. Basically. You become a vampire. It's about the long and short of it. You're very good. You're very good vampire, though. I have one of my Marauder character, the Mono Strength character, went all the way to the other end of the tree to get Volpact as soon as possible, and I do not regret it. It is an amazing skill. You can go from, like, nearly dead to full life in, like, one big AoE hit. It's glorious. So, yeah. Talking about what we got here. Frostblades. Frostblades is a single target physical hit of cold. With a greatly extended range, though. You can see I can do this little... That'll hit anybody that... Like, you know, like that. And then when it hits a target, as you've seen, it'll split and fire off ice shards that are purely cold damage projectiles. Which is pretty dope. Now, it kind of doesn't work inherently with dual wielding, but I'm not sold on if I'll be dual wielding on this character or if I'll be dagger and board or claw and board. I'm not sure yet. I don't think I'll be doing a two-hander on this character, though, because there is no good two-hander for being a dexterity intelligence character. Because staves are intelligence strength. Two-handed swords are dex strength. And, of course, hammers are just mono strength. I mean, technically bows, but I want to be melee. So I would have to, you know, I have to use a one-hander or I have to use 2 one-handers. It's really my options. Let me get another point. More damage. More damage. I've been finding recently, because I've been playing a lot of witches, I want to have one witch of each of her ascended classes, something I'll talk about later. But all you need to know, there's 3 of them, so I have 3 witches so far. 2 of which have taken their ascended classes, one which hasn't got that far in the game yet. But, you know, I find for the classes that are the monostat classes, the Marauder, the Ranger, and the Witch, strength, dex, int, respectively, I find it better to, like, stick in their tree and take points from their tree for a long time until eventually you need to branch out. But with the hybrid characters, I'm noticing you want to kind of branch out, like, almost immediately, because your tree is two different things when you start. Like, they still played well together, but at the same time, they kind of prefer to do their own thing. Now, there is actually one extra class that I forgot to mention, because she's actually dead set in the middle of the tree. The Scion. The Scion is a character you don't actually get to start with when you, like, make a brand new account in this game. You have to get to the third act of the game, which was the end game until they added 7 more acts. Yeah, this game's big. Well, it used to be it worked like Diablo or any other dungeon crawler where you had normal mode, nightmare mode, hell mode, or whatever they called it. This game, I believe it was called Cruel and Merciless, where, you know, you replayed the game but everything got buffed up. Now, you just have one linear narrative, which I actually kind of like better. But there's a point in the game where it becomes part 2, and everything acts like you're in Cruel. You're including the penalty to your elemental resistances that you normally get. You know, to make it that you need more collectively, basically. There's another lore dump. I don't think I'll do these ones though, because I'll just be honest. I just don't really care. I'll do the ones with the characters voice acting though, because, you know, they're kind of cool. As you can see in the side there, your gems level up with you. Again, very much like Materia. Oh wow, that does a lot of damage. He normally takes a lot longer to kill. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, some currency items. These 2 currency items in particular. I'll show these off. Actually, I got a couple here. Hello, Mr. Zombie. Get fucked. Okay. Like I had mentioned before, this is the one that makes items magical. So it has properties. Like, this is a white item. It has no properties whatsoever. Do you mind? I'm trying to do a thing here. This is a magic one. It, the reroll one for magic, where if it's like, you know what, let's just show it off. I'm gonna magic up my shoes. Life gen per second, max mana. That's okay. I can do better. I fucked it up. It's random, is the thing, right? Now, there's a third item that I don't have any of at the moment that I could use to give that another mod, because it's only got 1 of them, and magic items can have 2. Oh, actually, this will be a better item for my chest. So this is a shield, but now I actually get evasion rating off my chest, which is good. I can just ditch that. And that's actually better. Rotted round shield. No, that's the armor evasion one. See if these shoes are better than the ones I have. Hey, move speed, sweet. Mana flask, and the quest item. Dr. Shaky Hands Upton traveled with only the finest medicines and antidotes, and a curious generous supply of opiates. As in opium. As in Buddy was high as a kite. I think we'll just clean out this island, turn in the quest, and call it a day. This episode might be a bit long, but I'm okay with that. I mean, the way YouTube's going, I don't know what they want you to do anymore. Do they want you to do little, like, YouTube poop videos where they're, like, a minute long and are utter nonsense? Or do they want you to do 5-minute, like, clip show episodes of things? Do they want you to do 30-minute episodes, hour-long marathons? Do they just want you to upload your stream of 8 hours onto... Like, I don't know anymore. And you know what? I'm just going to say, fuck it. I'm just going to do what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is, however long this episode is, minus that little cut where my glasses fell apart. Still don't know why that happened. That's very confusing. And disorienting. You know, but other than that little cut, this episode will just be as long as it is. And you know what? YouTube's just gonna have to live with it. Yeah, Pierce is so good with, what was that one? Mana gen. That'll help. Although, honestly, thankfully, the way this game works with the flasks and such, you can play a character that's mana hungry, like, right away. You just have to be aware that you need to use your potions, which is all fine and dandy. Okay. Somebody bought a lot of microtransactions. Actually, I think that's the supporter pack, which is like, spend lots of money and get all this shit. And also, like, more points to buy even more stuff in the store for free, basically. That being said, it's like, that pack with, like, those big-ass wings. I think that's, like, upwards of, like, $400. So, you know,
I'd almost stopped believing in miracles.
little out of my price range.
This medicine chest.
Just a bit.
It's greater than the serums themselves it holds. It tells us that we can do more in Wraclast than merely suffer. I've not much to offer in return, but please, take something in thanks for what you've done.
Okay, so she's offering us one of 3 potions. We're going to have an updated one of these, because I'll show you something about the vendor system before we quit. Or we can get a sprint potion. You know what? I have one of these in storage. Let's just get an upgraded one. Here we go. Okay, so you... Block stun recovery. It's numbers. Now we're going to take these off, because I'm going to show you something cool. This game... Now, normally, like I mentioned before, when you sell something to somebody, you get something based on its value. However, if an item has certain parameters, like there's a ton of them, it'll give you a completely different payout. Like, this is a typical payout. It's a magic item, it has a shitty magic property, so I get 1 alteration shard. That's literally 1/20th of the reroll thing that I spent earlier to show it off. Better than nothing. However, if I sell one of these items that have 3 sockets that are linked of all different colors, I get what's called a chromatic orb. Chromatic orbs letting you re-roll the colors on an item. And I've got 3 of these. That's pretty good. And also, this is how you craft some things. I have 3 of the same tier of potion. This is the next tier of potion. If I go like this, wha-bam, I get the next level up of potion. And the game's telling me about vendor recipes right there. I'm just gonna flip through this real quick. This is, believe me, if you are new to this game and my explanation isn't good enough, read the help page. It's very good. It even taught me some things, even though I had been playing this game, I mean, with a big gulp in between when I first played it and now. Big gulp? Big gulf. Between, like, I missed a bit of the middle, basically, of the sandwich that is Path of Exile, but, you know, I'm on the top half of it now, and, you know, there were some concepts I didn't understand because they were new to me, even though they were old mechanics, and they were explained in this help tab in simple English beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. So, you know, this is a help menu you should listen to. You know, don't game grump it. You know what? No, I'm going to stop referring to other channels in any capacity, because you know what? This is about my channel, and this is about what I'm doing. And what I'm recommending is that if you are a new player to Path of Exile, read the help menu. There we go.
So, you managed to salvage Shaky Hand's Druggery. Nicely done. Nessa will put it to good use. More than that, benumbed quack Hopton never did.
Okay, well, we'll stop there for this episode. I'm just going to do a little bit of inventory management while I talk. But thanks so much for watching. Twitter, Tumblr, and subscription to the description as usual. Please engage in all 3. Be sure to click the bell when you're subscribing if you want to continue to get more of my content when I get around to doing it. I've had some issues, but hopefully we're on the mend here now. And gently push the like button if you like what you see. A lot of people tell you to smash the like button, crush the like button. I'm here to stop the like button abuse. It's a button. All you have to do to get it to do its thing is to push it. So just push the like button if you like what you saw, and let YouTube know that, hey, this Michael guy knows what he's doing. Most of the time. But anyway, Path of Exile. We got the medicine chest. Giving a little hope to all these people. Especially that little baby right there. That I literally did not know was there until today. The things you find out when you zoom in. But thank you all so much for watching. And ciao for now.